Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope. This is a horoscope for Gemini. If Gemini is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, and let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. Oh, Gemini. Gemini. It feels like it should be at least Thursday night, but it's not. As I'm doing this, it is a Tuesday evening, and I feel like this week has been dragging on. But the good news is I got most of my big chores done today. And that makes me happy. Okay, so enough about me and my chores. Our card tonight is the 8 of Discs. Okay, so this has to do with prudence. And actually one of my favorite, I know I say that about quite a few cards, but it is artistically one of my favorite cards in the Thoth deck. And I'll show you why in just a second here. Because of the flowers. I mean, I just think it's really pretty. They're in bloom. They're ready to start the process of becoming their fruits pretty soon. And nice late spring, early summer kind of vibe. So let's see, what does this have to do with our tea leaves tonight? So I'm going to start here, and this is kind of in this emotional zone that is on the edge of the bowl here. And this really, it looks like a person holding a flag of some kind. It kind of is just hanging. It's not, kind of a very like erect, blowing in the wind. It seems almost like it's just kind of, I don't know. But what came to mind is kind of like this idea of capturing the flag, okay? Some kind of victory, overcoming something, where maybe there was a lot of, there's turmoil, but kind of a big fight for kind of like a power struggle, right? And I think this is definitely, in the emotional zone. So I think that this has to do with maybe a dynamic within yourself, okay? I feel like, there's been a sense of trying to overcome some things. I know that in some of the readings past, we've talked about, really figuring out how to apply yourself, to stay more consistent, to be authentic while doing that, what you perceive to be authentic to yourself. And that's different for each of us, of course. So I feel that, it seems to be like another shift in power here. And, I think that that's only natural when we are trying to find a place of, so many phone just turned on or something. A place of at least kind of being in the configuration you want to be for a while, right? It doesn't have to be forever, but kind of figuring out, okay, now I'm in a mode to be really focused on my career, right? This cycle is going to be about focusing on, you know, my domestic life, my relationship, or maybe it's about, you know, finding healing and expressing some of that process through creative pursuits. You know, and all these things can be happening at once, but I think that, you know, often we shift between different modes, right? And kind of stay focused, at least for, I mean, these readings are every few days. So a few days. When I say cycle, usually it's about a week, right? So I think that you are kind of pulling down the flag of wherever you were before, okay? You know, for me, it's been really kind of positioning my time in such a way that I can get a little extra sleep. So I'm pulling down that flag of being just frantically getting things done all the time. I feel like that was like the mode for a couple weeks there, and it just was not very sustainable. But thankfully, you know, we began some things, and now I can like slow down just a beat and find my next, you know, my next projects, my next focus for a little while before the holidays begin. Oh my goodness, here they come, right? So let's see. I also see a nice heart here, okay? And it looks like it has some wings. It looks like maybe it has like an arrow through it, which is interesting because we have an arrow right down here as well. I do feel that there is some love in the air, some kind of love, maybe romantic. This is in the physical realm. This is in the emotional realm. So I feel like this is, you know, this seems like a pretty exciting kind of love right now. You know, if you've been married for many years, you know that we go through seasons of love. Sometimes, yeah, you're just getting through the days. You're doing the things. You're trying to stay on, you know, on your calendar, getting things done, stay on routine, you know, making sure, you know, nobody loses their mind in the process, right? And other times, you know, we absolutely are growing towards each other, and there are those moments where it feels so blissful, and you know, then we have our bad times as well, and everything in between those, right? So I think we're definitely in a place of a lot of interest. And now if this is a dating or maybe a newer relationship, there is that feeling of excitement, like, oh, when we get to see each other again, and you know, oh, I wonder if they're, you know, gonna message me when they wake up this morning, or, you know, these kinds of things. And that's exciting, you know, that can be very motivating too. So always my advice, when we are feeling good, ride that wave. Okay, put it into other things as well. You know, few things feel as nice as the onset of a nice love affair, right? It can be a great motivator for all kinds of things, and you know, definitely make use of that. Now, let me also mention, if you are not dating, if you are not in a relationship, or, you know, whatever, not engaging with other people, this could totally be with yourself as well, right? And those, as I like to say in my readings, those sometimes, almost always, are the best. The best love affairs. They're pretty solid, aren't they? And there's nothing like being in love with yourself. There's nothing like being excited to, you know, go on you wake up, the world is your oyster. You have so many adventures to go on with yourself. And listen, you're not waiting on anybody either. So arguably maybe the best kind of romantic love affair. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I wanted to look at this right here. So I feel like you have been in a position of kind of being the the sheep herder. Being the sheep herder here. So we have a little sheep, we have a person. It looks like they're even carrying one of the little sheep. And, you know, I feel that people look to you for answers, for, the big thing I feel like is that you are really good at talking people up into their self-esteem. You're good at like getting people the pep talks, gassing them up, getting them excited for stuff. You are like the ultimate cheerleader, really just somebody who brings joy to others. And now, I don't think that you like have a bunch of, well, maybe you do, I don't know, maybe you're a content creator or whatever, but I don't think you think of people as like your sheep or whatever, but I do think there is this sense of the relationship between a sheep herder and their flock is one of anyways, in symbolism of great respect, loyalty. There is a closeness, eating, sleeping, moving with the flock, being among them. I read something that was about how sheep recognize people, their faces, and they get very excited to see their people when they show up in the morning or whenever. They also have pretty profound relationships with like the dogs that are part of herding, and there's really kind of a really beautiful you know, family dynamic there. So I feel like, you know, you're somebody that really is so nurturing. And I don't know that you always see yourself as this, but I feel like when you're like at work and stuff, or in kind of a social situation, not with just your immediate friends, but people in the greater community, they really enjoy your energy because you're very kind to most people you come across. I think you're somebody who will go out of your way to compliment somebody. You will let somebody feel heard and seen. You don't like to leave people out. You probably know what that's like at some point in your life, right? And you know, you make sure that nobody feels that way when they're around you. And so I think this is a really beautiful feeling, a really beautiful energy to put out there. I think people like you are, you know, kind of the glue of society sometimes, polite society, or, you know, the kindness of you know, I don't know, a inclusive society. And that's, I mean, it's so important. I really feel like these are the places where the most change gets done in, you know, just relating to people. I mean, it's really amazing how just stopping sometimes to talk to somebody, you know, maybe in the grocery store or wherever you're at, just seeing how they're doing, you know, telling them, oh, I really like your shoes, or, you know, whatever, remembering something about them. And listen, I was a waitress, so this is, I would interact with people constantly. And, you know, I feel like, I always really appreciated when people remembered little things about me. And I feel like people appreciated when, you know, when we remember things about them. And, you never know somebody's situation. You never know what's been going on in their private life, but especially you never know if somebody's feeling lonely. And a lot of people are feeling lonely. And I think, you know, it gets to be more and more because we spend so much time with our faces and our phones is the big thing. But also, you know, I think so many people are people like me. I have really bad social anxiety, and I just talked about this, I think, last night in one of my readings. I will push myself way out of my comfort zone to talk to people, even if it's like I'm on the verge of a panic attack, doing it face to face, because I really feel like this is how we save each other. You know, just connecting with each other, listening to people, being there, even passively, you know, letting them know that they have been seen, you know, that you remember that they're a person, they're not just some ghost walking through their lives, that they matter. And it doesn't have to be some big extravagant gesture or, you know, social movement or anything like that. It just is quite literally being kind to the people who are in your life passing through, you know. So I think that is something that really comes naturally to you. You are just kind of one of those, you know, bright lights, a ray of sunshine most of the time, and you are doing the good work. So I thank you. Okay, let's see. So I keep looking at this one and I'm trying to figure out, it looks like a person wearing a hat. It looks like their hand is kind of extended behind, and they're looking over this way. And I literally cannot for the life of me think of what is that. It feels like they're going to take their hat off and put it down. So if somebody wearing a little top hat or maybe some kind of fedora, like old-timey fedora, means anything to you, then this maybe is some kind of visitation for you. I must wonder, is this somebody's grandpa or uncle or something? Like what are those ones called? The bowling hats? It's kind of like a fedora, but it's like a little more round, I think. Okay, so then here we have a person sitting. They're kind of reclining. And I think that, you know, we have not talked a lot about the prudence, but I really do think that you are holding strong in your own energies lately. You are reserving your efforts for the things that impassion you, okay? Sometimes I think we can feel a little guilty when we prioritize our own interests, our own, you know, things that we want to do. And we need to, you know, be mindful. Okay, well, I need to say no to these things so I have the energy, time, will to fully be there for the things that I want to do, or I need to do, really. But, you know, guilt, it sets in, you know, and I think that you're being really brave, and I think that you are being an excellent advocate for yourself lately in saying no sometimes, okay? And that's, it's wonderful. Saying no never felt so good, especially if you get to get a little rest out of it. You know, it's easy to find yourself overbooked and underslept. Okay, so we also have a person who's sitting here. They look like they're reading a book. Above them, it looks like, and I'm sorry, that was probably in a shadow. They're sitting here. They're holding a book, and it looks like they have maybe, it almost looks like maybe there's something, it looks like maybe a headdress, but it also and it's kind of hard to show you sometimes, but it looks like maybe something crawling onto their head. Like a lizard or a cat named TT, maybe. Hopefully not that. But we have here again this kind of being with yourself. It feels inactive because they're sitting, but they're not, because they're, you know, looking, reading, researching, you know, traveling in their mind. With the lizard or the salamander, this is the elemental of the fires, right? The passion. The passion, the transformer, right? And so I really think that it's a good time for you to really kind of slow down. Look for your inspirations, okay? And I think really during these times where we are slowed down, we're in these more airy spaces, thinking, contemplating, dreaming, it's a good time to kind of let off some of that, the fire, our internal fires slowly, right? Let them burn slowly. Get into those places of visions, of you know, meditation, active imagination. Really get carried away in those daydreams. Let yourself travel. Okay. And I want to look at this one too. We have a little fairy right there. And so I feel, you know, look around in your life. Are things moved? Are they missing? What's going on? There's a little feeling of mischief, maybe a little bit of that trickster, but sweet trickster, not evil trickster. We're not talking about changelings here. We're talking about the little fairies. They're leaving little beautiful fairy dust, and you know, maybe having really good dreams. Who knows? Just do not follow them home. Don't let them talk you into going home with them. So you'll get lost. All right. So, it looks like we have a little bit of a snake here. Interesting. So, my goodness, somebody to look out for, I suppose. They're coiled, so it looks like they are ready to strike. And it's weird because it feels like this is not the energy at all of the rest of the reading, but I feel like maybe this could be something to do with somebody having like the evil eye on you, being jealous, kind kind of like biting your whole whatever you're doing. And by biting, I mean copying. Stealing your whole format. But, you know, something, I don't know exactly. It doesn't look too serious. It looks a little cartoony, but, you know, just be careful. Don't go walking barefoot in the grass, right? Long grass. Watch out for the snakes. They always kind of have their eyes on you, don't they? And we do have a little bit of shifting emotions here. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you are kind of going through a transformation of your focus, where you are kind of putting your all, and slowing down a little bit. And I think there's a bit, you know, that all sounds well and good for a moment, but with you, Gemini, very quickly become restless. So, you know, have a plan. What's next? So you don't just go, you know, bounding off into something too carelessly. Have an idea of what you're going to do if you get a little too wound up there. Okay, so we're going to look at the lightness of being affirmation cards. And these are the earth element. And I'm just going to kind of hold these up here. I'm going to get this one. Pretty. Looks like a little fairy like we were talking about. And it says, Epiphany, harmony. Do you dare wear your heart on your sleeve? Embrace fresh experiences. Well, I think this has to do with that heart we were talking about. Is it pierced? And here, I was like, is this blood up here? Oops. Is this blood up here? It might be. It's that pierced heart. So, and now it's all coming to me. Maybe that snake has something to do with this new or ongoing love affair. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody who's like seeing how you're feeling. They're a little jealous. They don't like that you're in this good place. I don't know. Do a cleansing. Make a talisman, you know. If it's somebody you are close to, I would just talk to them outright. This is so bright tonight. I don't know what's going on with this. I gotta get my lighting fixed up here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and say thank you so much. so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. And we all know the algorithm kind of rules the world now. And so we like to make it happy with the engagement that it wants. So that's things like liking the video, watching the reading from the beginning to the end, sharing the readings on other social media platforms. And you don't have to do any of these things, but if you want to help support the channel in some way, they are, good ways to do that. I do not expect it though. I do appreciate if you do. Other than that, if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you want to leave a comment, please do. I read all of them. I reply back to all of them. So sometimes it takes me a day or two. I've been pretty on it this last, few days. So, it'll probably be within 12 hours at least, maybe less. All right, Gemini. We will talk again in just a few days. Thank you. Love you.